Hey everybody, it's Frozen with Outdoor Adventures and thanks for joining me. Today I want to talk about my clothing system for the Appalachian Trail. Now, this is all the clothing that I'm going to have throughout the entire trail, keeping in mind that my thru hike starts on February 23rd, so I have to take some extra precautions to stay warm. So all this clothing isn't going to be with me my entire thru hike, but what you are seeing now will be with me at some point in the thru hike. So let's go over what I'm pretty much always going to have on the thru hike. So we'll start with the first column. Right up top over there on the top left is a buff. I love the buff to kind of keep sweat out of your eyes in the morning if it's cold, or at night if it's cold. You can use it as a little beanie. It's multi-purpose and it works really great. You can even wipe down your tarp or anything that's wet, you need to soak up some moisture, you can do that. It just acts as a very, very useful multi-function item. So that will always be with me, and I just enjoy wearing it so I don't have to have my sweat from my forehead roll down into my eyes. Going down from the buff is my Champion Vapor shirt. I love it. It's moisture wicking, it's cheap, and it's blue. It's my favorite color, and I just think it's one of the most comfortable shirts I've ever worn. So that will be my base layer for pretty much hiking. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. Below that are my Patagonia Strider shorts. Now, I don't like to wear boxers. They just end up chafing parts of my body that I really don't want to be chafed. And with the Patagonia Strider shorts, they have a liner inside, and it's not your typical like tighty whitey liner. It's more like of a diaper style is the only way I can describe it. And it's really super comfortable. It hugs everything it needs to hug, and it doesn't give me any chafing. They're also shorty shorts, okay? So they're like, I think they're 5 or 6 inches. So they are a little short, but it allows full range of motion, and it's just something that I prefer over the years. Underneath that is gonna be my Dirty Girl gaiters. I don't like when rocks or sticks or leaves or debris gets in your shoes. It's just something I cannot stand. I hate taking my shoes off on the trail. So those will be coming with me. They've proven great. They're very comfortable, and you know, I've just always used them. It's something I'm familiar with. Obviously, like almost everybody out there, I'm going with darn tough Vermont socks. Now, I'll have one pair on at any given time, obviously, and I'll have a second pair packed away or drying out somewhere on my pack if their first pair is wet. For shoes, I decided to go with the Lone Peak 4s, and I think that may come as a surprise to a lot of people that have been following me, especially this past year. You know that I absolutely love the Lone Peak 3.5s, the model from last year. When I tried the 4s on and did a couple miles in those things, they're amazing. I think they are roomier and they are a lot more comfortable than even the 3.5s. Now, they don't have as much cushion as the 3.5, so that might pose a problem. We shall see what happens throughout the trail. I'll know probably within the first 100 miles if I'm going to be switching back, but those are the shoes that I feel very confident in bringing at the start of my hike. So you may be wondering, well, what if it's snowing? You're not wearing boots, you're going to wear trail runners. I took care of that. I have a pair of sealskin waterproof socks. Now, although they are marketed as waterproof socks, your feet can still sweat inside the socks. So it is very important that you dry out your feet whenever you can, and what I have been doing is I've been using a simple liner sock in between these two. Now, this is only if it's that really slushy, disgusting, muddy snow. If it's just muddy out and it's not snowy and not cold, I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm just gonna stick with the darn tough socks. The reason why I wanna bring these are for a vapor barrier, really. My feet are extremely hard to warm up in the morning and at night. Now, I won't obviously be wearing these at night, but during the morning hike, I want to start out with these at least if it's really cold. It gives me some extra insulation via my body heat. It traps that moisture in, or that vapor in, I should say, and it's really nice to keep your feet just a little bit warm. On any other given day, I will be wearing just a simple pair of darn tough socks and the Lone Peak 4s. Now, while we're talking about this liner sock, these are also going to be used as my sleep socks. So I'm going to try not to use these much, try not to get them sweaty because I want to keep these dry. The reason why I like to wear liner socks is because I don't really get blisters anymore, but my feet crack when they get wet. So as they dry out, as my feet dry out from being wet all day, sometimes they crack. So what I really like to do is almost every night I like to use hand and foot balm from Rocket Pure, which is what we're going to talk about in my first aid emergency miscellaneous kit. But I like to put that on my feet, and it's nice to have an extra pair of socks that won't get all grimy or anything from the balm, because it does leave a bit of a residue. So we're going to stick with that. On top of that, what I also like to do is I don't like to smell myself all night. I will be starting with a very, very light Champion C2 shirt. I believe these, you can pick these up at Target or Amazon. Really, really light, and this will just be used for sleeping. Something dry that I can sleep in. Now, keep in mind, this is just what I'm always bringing. If it's cold weather, we're going to talk about that next in the second column. So, up top, the Z-Packs fleece hat. Super warm, really easy to sleep in. It's just literally perfect. I can't ask for a better hat. Below that, the Z-Packs Possum Down gloves. Now, I don't think they're actually made by Z-Packs, but they do sell them. These gloves actually keep me warm down to about 20 degrees. For as much as these weigh, only a couple ounces, these are definitely worth the money. They are a little bit delicate, so you have to watch with hiking with these and trekking poles. I also purchased a pair of rain mitts from Z-Packs. I found that these rain mitts are really good to cover up and even have a little bit of a vapor barrier with the Possum Down gloves. Okay, so for pants and wind and a little bit of rain protection, I just opted for these cheap, I think they're $14. They're called body wrapper pants. They're meant for like ballerinas and stuff, but they're a ripstop nylon. And what I've done is I've coated them in a DWR tech wash. So they are really, really rain resistant. They're rain resistant to begin with because of the ripstop nylon, but these offer some great wind, warmth, and rain protection. So these probably add about 10 degrees to my setup if I'm just hiking in the shorts, which is primarily what I'm going to be doing. For warmth, I want to start with my Patagonia R1 top. It's a hooded, like a microgrid fleece sweatshirt. This thing, hiking, gets me down to about, I'd say a little bit lower than 20 degrees, comfortably. Probably about 30 degrees just kind of sitting there. But this thing is amazing. Now, when it warms up consistently over 40 degrees, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to send this home, and I'm going to send myself my Melanzana microgrid hoodie. These are really, really hard to find. I've yet to do a comparison video. I'm not sure if I'm going to get to that at this point, but at least when I get back, I will make a comparison video. But this is good till about 40 degrees. It's lighter, it's softer, and it's a little bit more comfortable, a little bit better of a cut than the athletic cut of the R1. So I'm sticking with that. Okay, for sleeping when it's cold, I have opted for the complete set of Smartwool 250. So the tops and the bottoms, these are really, really comfortable. They're moisture wicking. They're very, very warm, and you know, they've been working out great as my base layer. If it gets cold enough, you know, around my legs or my upper body that maybe if it's in the single digits at some point, I have no problem hiking in with these. I have done it before, and they stay pretty dry. You just got to be careful, keeping in mind that I can always go into town if it gets to be unbearable. When it gets warm enough, I prefer not to sleep in a pair of shorts with a liner. I've cut these Nike running shorts up. I've cut the liner out of these shorts so I can actually sleep in these. These are super light and well worth the, I think, 2 ounces that it weighs to bring these. So these are just for a little bit added comfort. I think it's going to be worth the wait for an extra pair of nice sleep shorts. For rain protection, I've opted for the Outdoor Research Helium 2. It's a really, really popular jacket. I have no problems with it. They actually replaced this jacket for me after 4 years of use. This is a brand new one as of this year. It's never been used, and it has enough room in this where I can put my down jacket under it if I really, really need to. Speaking of the down jacket, this is a Montbell Alpine Light down jacket. I think it's 700 fill. Can't remember off the top of my head. This thing has been beaten up and worn and abused. If you can see all the holes from, you know, fire embers getting on me. Also be bringing some tenacious tape just in case I need to patch that up some more. But that will be my primary jacket. Now, once I send this jacket home, I'll probably be using the Melanzana microgrid. I don't really want to keep a down jacket out there, especially because this goes down to about 35 degrees comfortably just sitting around. So I should be good with just my Champion shirt and this. If I really need it, I can always throw on my rain jacket. All right, lastly, we were talking about how cold my feet get. Even when I go to bed, when I start sleeping, I am just extremely cold in my feet. I don't know why. I don't know if it's poor circulation or what, but I've decided that I'm going to take these super heavy Goose Feet gear down socks. They weigh about 2 ounces for the pair, and I think they're going to be great. They're rated to 30 degrees, but you know, with everything else that I have on, including my 20-degree quilts, I feel like these can probably get me to single digits, no problem. So these are the clothes that I'm going to be bringing for the entire Appalachian Trail thru hike. Let me show you what I'm just going to be using when it gets warm. So as you can see, this is the gear that I'm going to bring when it's warm out consistently. So anything over, I'd say 40, 45 degrees, this is what's going to be with me instead of all that other stuff. One thing I did forget to mention, and I want to go over it real quick, is my rain skirt. This is a Z-Packs rain kilt. I call it a skirt. And this has been tried and proven to be one of my favorite pieces of gear. I can't believe I forgot to talk about it. But what this does, it just kind of wraps around you like a skirt, and it shields your waist from, getting wet, really. So you can keep your running shorts dry. Who cares if your shoes and socks get wet, but your running shorts stay dry, at least in theory. I've also used this to kind of shield my legs. You pull it down a little bit to block out a plant known as stinging nettle. It's a miserable thing we have here in Pennsylvania. So that'll also be coming with me. It also is really good, surprisingly, for some extra wind protection, some extra warmth. So that will definitely be coming with me. So if you guys see anything that I'm missing, or you think that I should maybe leave behind, please, please, please let me know in the comments. I am completely open to suggestions, especially for the clothing. Now, I should have prefaced this saying I've tried everything here. I know what works for me. This is just what I think I will take to be comfortable on the trail. But I'm looking for suggestions from you, the viewer. Some of you guys have way more experience than I do, some past thru hikers perhaps, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for your advice. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.